Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Midweek Fix from the LFC Daytrippers. It's Tuesday night. It's 4 days to Christmas. I can't wait. I love fucking Christmas. I love it.
What's your favourite day of the Christmas?
It all depends.
Christmas Eve is where it's at.
No, 26th, Stephen's Day, or Boxing Day as they call it in the UK, is brilliant. If you can get into a boozer, it's the best. But we might talk about that later. Keith, Conroy, Chris, Liverpool versus Leicester, Carabao Cup, League Cup, Milk Cup, Rumbelows Cup, quarter final at Anfield tomorrow night. A lot of uncertainty at the moment around teams and squads with COVID and possible stadium bans and all sorts of stuff like that. So, yeah, look, we don't know. We're kind of taking these games one at a time, aren't we? To see, you're kind of waiting on announcements and stuff like that. Chris and Conroy, you might know a bit more than us with regards to what the UK government may or may not do. I know in Scotland they've reduced capacities in stadiums and stuff. Conroy,
Wales they've stopped crowds now.
Wales,
no crowds, and Wales have stopped crowds completely.
Okay, and Scotland are down to 500, is it?
Yeah.
You're muted, Conroy.
It's a great point, though.
It's a great point he made. So, Conroy, go again. 500. Still muted. Hold on. I'll sort it out for you. Now.
And then UK-wise, the Pratt they've got in charge at the moment basically said, nothing's in place now, which basically means it's probably going to land 27th. They'll just say, that's it. That's my gut feeling. But they'll probably announce it on Christmas Eve.
Dylan O'Rourke says, 500 capacity in Scotland. I think Conroy's trying to tell us that. Conroy, the best thing to do is drop out and come back in. Just double check your mic and it should be fine. But lads, look, I think it's going to be a difficult festive period. I really do. Me and Kev were talking about it last night about, crowds being out, COVID, different things like that. The league have decided to carry on, which is fair enough. But we have this quarter final to look forward to. Arsenal have gone through tonight, I think 5-1 against Sunderland.
5-1.
Yep.
One of the quarter finals. Does that mean the 3 quarter finals are tomorrow?
I think so. It was Tottenham, West Ham, or us, isn't there? I'm trying to look at who the other one is. Yeah, there must be the other one tomorrow. I'll look.
Yeah, it's Brentford and Chelsea.
Okay.
So 3 of them are tomorrow.
Just give me 1 sec now. I'm just going to get Conroy.
James Milne is asking, am I drinking Malibu? No, I'm not. It's just plain old milk, Now,
Conroy, you should be fine now.
Yeah, you see me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, you're all good.
Yes. I was saying, 500 a day, 500 capacity now. So there's you get a winter break in Scotland as well. Uh-huh. So there's been some people saying today to bring that forward. But then the other argument is, well, you might just have too many games to catch up anyway and not enough days. So it's a bit of a to and fro with it.
Would Scotland have games now on the 26th, maybe the 28th, 29th, and the 1st and 2nd, and then it's a winter break? Is that right?
As far as I'm aware, I'll need to double check the dates, but that's when usually the winter break would be. And then what you would do is, we only introduced that a couple of years ago in Scotland, and then what you would do is you just kind of get back to it after that break. However, there's a bit of a debate there now. But to be fair, some people are saying that if you play these reduced capacity now, then you have the winter break, then following that you might be able to get bigger capacities in. Yep. But if you bring the winter break forward, you might up having to do like completely behind closed doors anyway. Yeah. So I can kind of understand, but at the same time there's been a lot of kind of contradictory stuff in Scotland about it, and that's what people are kind of annoyed with.
There's probably a lot more scope for what Scotland can do as opposed to England, because that winter break helps them, I suppose. I think you're right. I think if they play 2 or 3 games with reduced capacities, which would include the Old Firm, I think.
Old Firm, yeah. That'll be a big reason Twitter kind of went off today, and a lot of the smaller teams as well, because a lot of, like most fans, that's part of their working week. Like they'll look forward to those games.
Yeah, Kev was saying last night that these fixtures are huge for clubs financially. not the big ones roll on, but the smaller clubs really rely heavily on this
Yeah.
Christmas period and games that they get. But we'll have to look. Scotland seems to have made a move and done that. Somebody is very impressed. Dylan O'Rourke, amongst others. I have to be honest with you, is very impressed with Conroy's hair.
Yeah,
Conroy
he's getting a lot of love, isn't he?
Yeah, he's getting a lot of love for the hair. And I don't know whether he's designed this or whether he's just forgot to get a cut. It looks fantastic.
Touch of the Tom Grennan's about it.
Yeah.
Well, listen, if Tom Grennan tells you that's natural, he's a liar, right? I'm telling you right now, right? Because this is not natural, but we'll not get into that. But yeah, thanks very much for that. It is intentional, even though it does look a bit all over the place tonight. But yeah, I was fed up with the receding hairline, guys. Had to cover it the best I could.
Yeah. Look, here comes Keith to tell you about hair.
You want to know about receding hairline? Yeah. I was like Donald Trump when I was 15.
John says, I don't know why LFC even bother attending these stupid meetings. Whatever suggestion we put forward, other clubs just do the opposite. I have seen that are going around a few times, but listen, I'm not going to say anything about. I can't get into this whole COVID thing because people will call me an extreme conspiracy theorist, but it's an absolute swindle. That's all I'm going to tell you. Chris, going into this, what effect does all of this happening have on Liverpool's outlook on the League Cup? Because I think if COVID wasn't around, I think we would have managed this game fairly okay. And being strong for Leeds, Leicester, Chelsea, and then you're into FA Cups and stuff like that. And, you're looking at squads being, we would have been nearly fully fit, I'd say, going into the new year. What effect does this have on our outlook on this tomorrow night?
I don't think it has massive changes to make. That's the problem. Because there's some players that need minutes now. And Klopp keeps talking about rhythm, but it's almost like he's going to try and flog these lads a little bit to get through this game and get through Leeds. And then he'll have the option of 3 of the lads back for the Leicester League game. I know Pep Linders was saying just because they're out of quarantine doesn't mean they're ready to play football, because it takes time for them to get their levels and the fitness back. But you'd like to think, I know it's not saying that they are doing fitness work anyway at home. It's not ideal, but they must be doing something. So, because I think officially, isn't it, Van Dijk, Fabinho and Joe technically are out of quarantine on the day of the Leeds game. They're not going to see it. But I think what you might see is, because of the 5 sub-rulers, I think you might see people like Matip, Milner, Tsimikas being asked to go again. But there'll be an agreement that Matip and Milner only do 45 and do a swap with Kanati and Keita. And perhaps Tsimikas is told, do an hour, then he throws a kid on for the last half hour. I think that's what they'll do. I think the 5 sub thing probably helps him go a little bit stronger than we're probably all expecting.
Keith, we heard and we were talking about it on last night as well, but we heard comments from Klopp with regards to 26th, and obviously this is the game before the 26th, but he was saying, like, if you look at the League Cup, you have the League Cup, if we qualify, you're looking at a 2-legged semi-final amongst after what will be a mad Christmas, what's usually a busy Christmas period anyway, but it's going to be made even harder for most clubs now with COVID issues and players missing and stuff like that. Chris is right. How many changes can you make? But I have a feeling he's going to go as weak as he can tomorrow night.
I don't know. I think we've had this sort of weak enough team going out into the League Cup up till now, and I don't think it'll be too far from that. Now, obviously, the question marks are around what we can do in the midfield, because I don't know if you want to go through us what we think the team could be later on. But when you think about it, there's players that can come in, as Chris touched on, that'll need minutes, and anyway, you'll have Bobby coming back that'll need minutes. I think we'll have a strong enough team, but with a mix of the younger lads. So anyone that we can afford to rest, I think we will rest. But I'm not too sure. The fact that it's Arsenal are into the semi-final now, Chelsea play Brentford, and who's the other one?
Tottenham West Ham.
I mean,
West Ham as well, so West Ham will probably fancy the chances.
They'll be tricky enough teams. Well, Spurs will be still out celebrating the draw from that day with us. So
don't rile him.
They'll be big enough teams in that draw, but they're not going to be City. Do you know what I mean? It's not going to be City. So I don't know if he'll throw it away. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if he'll use it to throw it, just to say, fuck that, we're not playing it, we're going to put, 3 or 4 players that haven't had a minute in. I think Tyler Morton could play, but I think he'll play with someone experienced. Do you know what I mean? I think we'll see a mixed blend.
The flip side is though, we don't know what Leicester side. We don't know what Leicester side we're going to see. I was having a quick look before. They've got up to 11 players out, and I'll probably have that 11. A good 8 of them are in and around the first team or the squad, and they've got all 5 of their centre backs out at the moment.
Yeah.
So you're probably looking at Ndidi and Amati at centre back. That's probably all they're going to.
Yeah, Sionchu might be coming back. He's a possibility.
Yeah, but
not.
But would you risk him for the League Cup?
Exactly.
Probably not. Probably Man City at the weekend.
And the thing, yeah, exactly. And the thing is, it's not only just like there's big games. Like they have Man City at the weekend, is that right? And then they have us 2 days later.
Yeah.
You know the sort of way. Yeah. And the way, like I've said to you, Keith, I think they go the weakest possible. That's probably over the top. But Conroy, I'll keep the point coming with you. When I look at the team that he might put out, I'm immediately thinking Leeds, because what Chris says is right. The 3 that originally had COVID are due back out of quarantine on the 26th. From what Linder said today, they won't be rushing anybody. They won't be rushing anybody. They're at home, they're away from the club, they're doing their own fitness work and stuff like that. But we will take our time, was the words he used. You have to, like centre half, right? You can't play Nat Phillips, he's injured. You can't play Virgil van Dijk. You're left now with Gomez, Matip, Kanate, right? So chances are Gomez plays, right? So you have to put one of them in there, right? You have to put one of them in. What?
Because the Echo, he's going unchanged at centre back.
Which is
surprising.
But then it's like Conroy, fix this for me. Is there an argument to say, lads, go with a team that you have, because there's 4 days to Leeds, and then we have to really start looking at mixing it up, because we've 2 days to Leicester, and then 4 more. Is it 5 days to Chelsea then the second, isn't it? So you have 5 days to Chelsea. What way does he look at this, Conroy? I think it's a really hard one. I think it was difficult anyway, but I think the COVID stuff thrown in, and not only, you nearly have to preempt the fact that we might get more positives in the next 3 or 4 days, and then you're really up against it.
Yeah, no, it's a good point, Gab. The thing for me, guys, to be perfectly honest with this one, I don't think we've got as much choices, to be honest, because right now we're talking about central midfielders, but to be perfectly honest, guys, I don't know how else we can play. You've got 4 centre mids there. You've got Morton, Milner, Ox and Keita. I'm off the top of my head, I'm thinking with the COVID cases and injuries, right, possibly Hendo, but he's not going to come back for tomorrow night, so he might be
back for Leeds. You'd have Leeds. Pencil for Leeds.
So Leeds, I could imagine Keita and Hendo not playing tomorrow night, and maybe we're not going to go into it, but I think the midfield basically picks itself for me, just because I don't know another central midfield we've got who could come in, apart from the ones we've just mentioned.
Unless he top loads it and he decides to put 2 midfield and play a 4-2-3-1 and use Firmino in a 10 and get Minamino in there, and Cade Gordon, maybe someone along them.
Yeah. Arrighi being injured is annoying as well, by the way. That's another one as well.
And this is it, isn't it? When you want someone to step in, we seem to be saying this for 2 years now. When you want someone to step in, they're injured. And it's like, fucking hell, we really need you, and you're injured. Georgie is a Leicester fan. He says Leicester not getting anything from the next 2 league games. This cup game is more important. Georgie, if you don't mind, do you want to try type in the chat as to what you think the Leicester side will be tomorrow? Because that'll give us an idea of what players you actually have out and who you think is available for this game and over the Christmas period. So if you want to just try your team in there and let us know. Kieran reckons Leicester will be fresh after a nice break, just like Spurs are aware, and United will be. Several teams will benefit from having games postponed. How many games did Leicester get postponed though? 1?
3. 2, at least 2, isn't it?
Leicester?
Yeah, because they had a 10-day break, basically. The way it worked out was like a 10-day break they had, because they played the Newcastle game, but I think they had a few games in between that.
I remember just laughing my head off at the fact that Brendan Rodgers said, we have 11 players out, and some of them are injured because that's COVID related, because they're playing too much because they're covering for the lads that have COVID, and that's why it's COVID related. And I don't even know if that was a real quote, but I laughed my head off at it. And then I thought it was obscene what he was saying, and then they had the game called off, which was he got the last laugh on me. But Georgie, if you know the team or what you think it might be, throw it in there for us just to give us an idea. Keith. Does he change the goalkeeper?
I would.
Come on, he has to. He's not played him in 2 Champions League dead rubbers. He has to play Kelleher.
I know. And the only reason I don't think he will is because Alisson made bollocks of it on Sunday.
Alisson. Usually when you see the keeper, it's always a great marker as to how serious he's taking this.
Yeah. But that's
nothing against Caoimhín Kelleher. It's just,
no, and that's what I was going to say. Like, we actually wouldn't mind seeing Caoimhín Kelleher, as Chris said, and Conroy has alluded to. We've played, Alisson and dead rubbers, and it's usually on the back of getting back in, or in previous times. You know what I mean? Or get the keeper back in if he's made a help. We spoke on the Fatback 4. Davo gave Alisson man of the match, even though he ultimately cost us the match. And it was a weird situation because he's makes so many saves, but he has that rick. Now, to be honest, I think it's a few games in a row now that he's having ricks, and it's all the same rick. It's coming out for balls and not dealing with them well enough, or not getting to them at all. So I don't know. I personally would leave him out. I'd go Kelleher in goal on this one. I'd go Kelleher. I think he's never let us down. I think you're setting a bad... And I know Klopp doesn't really give a shit. I think you're setting a bad precedent. The fact that we didn't play him in dead rubber Champions League games, very similar to giving experience to Tyler Morton and then Max Waltman and whoever else, the other lads that came on.
Even Phillips getting a Champions League cap, you know what he said, being in the Champions League.
Exactly, to give them a chance in that game. It's such a big confidence boost. And I know Kelleher has done that already. He's had that. He played last season. But I don't know. I think you give him this game. I'd rest him because we've big games coming up and they're coming thick and fast. I'd go Kelleher and go all day long.
Can I ask the question as to who Leicester exactly missing, right? Kasper Schmeichel is their goalkeeper. Pereira is their right back.
Yeah.
Amarte and Sionchu. Right, Amarte wouldn't usually play centre half.
Well, he's an auxiliary player that can do
it. It may be Albright and playing right back as well, Gav. It might not be Pereira as well.
Okay, Castagna or Thomas, a left back, is their left back.
Yeah.
Indeed, Samar would be probably one of their first choice midfields.
Yeah. See, Tielmans, I don't...
Maddison, Barnes, Daka or Vardy.
That's their strongest team, and I think that's what Jogee is trying to say here, is that they top load on the cup game and they'll leave, they'll look to rest. They're not missing anybody. They're missing Bladen.
Fofana, Evans. Well,
Fofana's a long-term injury.
I don't know, but Evans, Vestergaard's out, Perez is out, Luckman, Iheanacho, Justin and Chowdhury, and then a couple of backups.
So nobody.
Yeah. No, but I think Amarty's not really a centre back though.
No, that's what I just said.
Schmeichel
is the right back. Schmeichel is the goalkeeper. Pereira is the right back. Sionchu is a centre half. Castagna or Thomas vie for a left back spot, right? Indeed, Samar's brought in the summer and highly touted by you included, Keith. Tielmans, Maddison, Barnes, Daka or Vardy. Like,
that's their strongest team. With one or two exceptions.
So Jogee thinks that he's going to go with this and then change it up for the 26th and the 28th. I don't know if he does, especially if he's...
I don't think the defence will be as strong as that. I think their midfield and attack will probably Daka instead of Vardy, but I just think the defence, if you look at the preview predictions, a lot of them think Albright will play right back. Sionchu might not be back in time, and Bertrand will play left back. I mean, it could be still one of them. And the actual one of the predictions I saw was Ndidi to play at centre back because Sionchu won't be back.
I saw that Ndidi and Amarty at centre back. That was the one I saw.
I think this is leaning towards them going weaker against City, and they all come back for Liverpool.
Yeah,
I think that's what you're leaning at, because you always pick one game between the 26th and the 28th, the rest players, and one to go, and it's usually one of the 26th where you take a chance.
Jogee might be right. We might be all be surprised. He'd be spot on that they go full strength tomorrow night.
As I said, there's an opportunity to win a cup there. Do you know what I mean? If Leicester look to get us out of the way and take advantage of our situation, because I agree, I think Chris might have said it, or Conroy, one of us, if this COVID shit doesn't happen, I think we do take this seriously and try to get a marker down on this cup. And it's sort of changed now, so they smell blood in the water.
The only thing I would say is that it's kind of nearly in blocks. I think you look at this and you look at Leeds, because I think you'll see Van Dijk, Henderson, and maybe not Thiago, Van Dijk, Henderson, Fabinho and Curtis Jones all back on the 28th to play Leicester. So Liverpool will be minus only Thiago and maybe Origi. All things staying as they are.
And
Going into
Robbo,
that game.
and Robbo's
And
obviously
Robbo, of course,
suspended.
suspension. Yeah, Robbo suspension. He should be back for Chelsea. It's just a very strange one, isn't it? It's and I can kind of see where Georgie's going with it with regards to that team. You know, heavy on the cup, lay off for one league game, happens to be City. Are they home or away against City?
Let's predict that lineup against City. Danny Ward in goal. Muzzy is it in midfield. Gary Lineker up front.
Yeah.
Robbie Savage in midfield.
Yeah.
Guppy on the wing.
Who was the Greek
Yeah.
fella in the midfield for them years ago?
Muzzy is it? Or
Zagorakis? No.
Theo Zagorakis?
Was it? Was him?
Was that the one who
midfield?
played? Who actually won the Euros with Greece? Is that the same one?
Yeah,
Or...
Theo Zagorakis.
Yeah.
I think he was a centre back, was he? Georgie will tell us. Theo Zagorakis. Or Laura is in there, she'll tell us.
Yeah, I think it was. He was a Greek fella anyway. Yeah, good player.
The most random one, I've got to shout this out. People forget Esteban Cambiasso played for Leicester the season before they won the league. People forget about that.
Didn't Roberto Mancini play for Leicester?
Yeah, Mancini played for Leicester
Yeah,
as
there
well.
you go. Rogers is a very proud man, wonderful human being with a fabulous character. He'll want to beat us, of course he will. So there you go. They're away to Man City.
He's doing a dossier. He's compiling a dossier for any available job that comes up. So we'll look to get any victory against a big team in there as soon as possible.
Okay, more on the argument around does the League Cup count? Robbo was out of the Chelsea game, so they said on the Anfield wrap. Again, I don't know this fucking rule. Whether it counts.
No, they said it. I think he said it on Sky as well. So I think one lad in the chat said they've changed the rule again. So when we won the year we won the league, it didn't count. Now it does. They changed it every bloody 2 years.
So the League Cup does count?
Does count, so he's back for Chelsea.
Okay, but the Anfield rap are saying that he's out. Now that could be just someone in the Anfield rap but getting as confused as we do overall just because
that'd be like someone quoting us as fact, wouldn't it?
I know, yeah. I can't believe nobody has gone and looked for this fucking rule for us. You know what I mean? Just go and look at the rule and come back and tell us.
Do you know how I remember it is? Because someone gets a straight red and then I feel like they're playing before you know it, and that's how I always thought.
Yeah, because a League Cup and an FA Cup game pops up and they're if you do it at the right time, you can actually get.
Said Tar got it wrong. Robbo misses the cup and the next game, but I'm not validating that opinion because I don't like the name of Red Steve. So
no,
he's not doing just Steve, which is disgraceful. Really.
Yeah, he should be just Steve. Look, I don't know. This is obviously a dirty protest of some sort from Steve. But look, it's going to be. I think it's going to be a cracking game either way, because I think you're going to have a crowd going there that are probably going. We'll probably get this, and we'll probably get Leeds, and then that's it.
Enjoy it, yeah.
Because they're away at Leicester, they're away at Chelsea, and then I don't know what our next home game is, but it's probably around the 7th or 8th of January, is it? Oh no, you probably have the FA Cup around that weekend. Yeah. So then it'd be Shrewsbury in the Cup then. Yeah. So Red Steve said that was yesterday's Anfield wrap, corrected themselves today. So Red Steve, just Steve is right. I
wonder is his name even Steve?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know. But I think it's going to be a cracking game. I think Leicester, again, they've won an FA Cup recently. They're not doing the best in the league. They're struggling with injuries. They're struggling with COVID. They might have to, like you said, go heavy on this, have a look at City, and then probably come back heavy against us. And I'm okay with that. Liverpool turn up everywhere and everyone wants to beat them. So that's the way it goes. But Chris, I'll come to you. What sort of game do you see? Because I see it being fairly open and a real kind of home thing, a real League Cup, December night, near Christmas, fans up for it. And I think you kind of get more giddy when it's kind of, what'll be the T&B and he's playing here and he's playing there. I think the excitement goes up and it kind of form and nearly tactics go out the window. They just have a right go at it. I'm thinking Liverpool 5, Arsenal 5 from about 3 years ago.
Just so you know, Red Steve is now Red Keith. It's effing red, you buggers. So there you go. He's now Red Keith.
Okay.
There you go.
Anyway, I think it's going to be like...
That's the epitome of a dirty protest now.
Yeah, it is.
I think it's going to be... Do you remember the 5-5 against Arsenal in the League Cup, which Klopp did everything he could to get out of, and we still won on penalties?
Yeah, he wanted to take a penalty himself, I think, at one stage.
I mean, Curtis Jones even swapped what order he was taking the penalty and on the fly, and still won. I think it's going to be something like that. I think it's going to be end to end. Because one thing with Leicester, with Daka at the moment, he's done well for him in the cups and in Europa League. Yeah, good player. So I think it's going to be a bit of an end-to-end game. Probably quite an exciting game. And also, I think the midfield we're going to pick, it does make you feel like it's going to be a bit like the Tottenham game where it was very basketball end-to-end, which, look, as a neutral, will make it a really good game to watch. So everyone will be quite excited to watch.
That's where I'm wondering, does Henderson actually come back in? Because if you're gonna play Tyler Morton, he could literally just put Henderson and Milner in there.
Yeah,
and say we're not being overrun in here, because like if Leicester have a midfield of Ndidi, Tielemans and Sumer, is that my saying his name right? Sumer?
Yeah.
It's a really good midfield,
strong.
And then you have
legs as well. Legs very good.
Yeah, well, like, they're really good. That's a really good midfield, and then you have Maddison hanging around the gaff as well. He's a good player. He might just go a bit of experience in there just to level her off a little bit midfield, because what we did see at the weekend was slack passing, and you have to give Milner and Keita some sort of leeway. They're only coming back. Do you know what I mean? They literally, and then you have a young fella playing for them, in Tyler Morton. So he might do something just to protect that a little bit more, because he mentions protection an awful lot after that Spurs game, protecting the back line, protecting balls through towards the opposition's forwards. We need to protect that a little bit better. So he might go something like that. But Chris can see a cracker. Conroy, what can you see? Can you see it just someone could run away with it? Or
no, I think you're right. I think there'll be lots of chances, and I do think there'll be some goals. I don't think maybe 5-5, but that might be just to lacky finishing, if you know what I mean, or good performances.
That type of end to end 5-5 game could have been 7-8.
I agree. I think there will be goals. I'm maybe downplaying. We'll do the predictions at the end, but I think there'll definitely be goals. Watch this, it'll be 0-0. But yeah. I do think there'll be goals. What I would say though is, I think either way, if Sionchu comes back for Leicester, but even without that, they've still got a pretty good midfield. So, Gav, I had my lineup sorted in my head, and you've just put a spanner in the works by saying that what Klopp said and the protection and the fact that Hendo might be available, because it's all about how weak we can go if you're thinking that. But at the same time, it's like that could be a big issue, that midfield. Now I'm thinking about it, because they've got obviously Tielemans is the orchestrator as well, but with Ndidi, and if they have Sumar as well, you talk about, I'd be worried we might be overrun there. So I think that's going to be an interesting battle. If they don't have their first team defence, if they have maybe Albrighton playing right back and Marty at centre back, even if a Bertrand comes in at left back, I feel like that makes the balance a bit more. Like, you can see us getting at them, as well as we maybe have weaknesses in our midfield as well. So I feel like that's where the balance comes.
The decisions they make defensively will probably dictate as to what they look to do in midfield. I think if they can get,
Sionchu back, that would be a big one for them.
Back, and they have Pereira, and they have even a Marte in there, and they have a Castagna or a Thomas, I think they'll go, do you know what, quite confident with that, because they're probably going to come up against, say, Firmino, could be Kate Gordon, it could be Minamino, right? And they'll look to say, we're confident in ourselves with that back four, we look to go and dominate the midfield. But if, like you said, they have, say, Albrighton, who's been a really fucking good player for Leicester, let's be honest about it. But if he has him and Marte, and say he has to put Ndidi in there, then he's looking going, like, if we leave this open, they'll fucking tear us apart. They're good players, don't get me wrong, but they're not right backs and centre backs. It's as simple as that.
We've seen that last season. It's like you can put a midfielder into defence, but it doesn't always work out that way.
Yeah, well, the knock-on effect is huge up the pitch as it goes, the sort of way. And I just think it's going to be very, very interesting. And
it's quite an interesting game to watch tactically.
It'd be
nearly
nearly most interesting if Leicester went, listen, we have to go big against City and Liverpool. The league is the bread and butter. We'll take our chances in this and pour out a weekend side. And Liverpool do the same, and we all just sit back, have a few beers, and go, listen, it's fucking Christmas, and it's the League Cup at the end of the day. No one's going to bleed and cry about the League Cup, regardless how much you think you want to win it. No one's going to cry about it if we come out of the new year and we're top, or we're in a point, or whatever it might be. Keith, cracking game, we'll all draw. What are you having?
Yeah, no, I think it'll be a cracker, but like, you have to remember, Brendan Rodgers sort
of
threw away
Champions
League.
He's got the dossier. He's preparing the dossier, as Keith said, but that'll be in his head.
He threw out Champions League games. Do you know what I mean? In the Bernabeu.
Yeah.
He's been the important Champions League game, so I can't see him really taking this one too serious. But Jogee knows more than we do, because he's sort of on the scene there. But I think it's going to be a cracker. I like Leicester. We've given Leicester a bit of stick, but it's more. I think Brendan's a bit of a snake oil salesman, but they play a great brand of football. Now at the start of the season, I picked Samari to be one of the signings of the season. Hasn't worked out. Going to put my hand up on that one. I think he's been in and out. He's probably had a knock again.
It take a year sometimes as well, Keith. It doesn't always happen straight away. Look, I'm not saying he's level Fabinho, exactly. But it doesn't always happen straight away. It takes time sometimes.
Well, I suppose like they do have a good blend of players in there, and he'll take his time to get in. But Daka is another one that I would have liked at Liverpool, and he's coming in dribs and drabs, but he's looking sharp every time he comes in. So I think Leicester have a good. I think Daka plays tomorrow. I don't think Vardy will play. I think Daka will certainly play in this game. But he's going to cause problems. I can see it all depends. I think our team will be. What do we do at the back? That's the question. Chris said the Echo are saying it's an unchanged back two. I'd be surprised. I think Matip probably has to sit this one out.
I think Matip starts.
You think he starts?
I think he starts. Matip and tells him to do 45 minutes.
Matip and Gomez.
But do you think that's because Gomez might have an issue? Do you think that's maybe the reason? It's not been disclosed?
No, I think the Echo were guessing. I think
he knows he's going Matip and Konate against Leeds.
Yeah,
I think he's trying to cover it. I think he's trying to cover the starting lineup, and he's trying to cover himself for 4 days' time as well.
Yeah. I think Matip starts, and at half time he brings Konate on regardless of the situation. A bit like he did in the Champions League last couple of times.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think.
I don't know. Disagree. I think Gomez and Konate start it. I think Gomez and Konate for their pace will be the two that go in.
I think Konate can play consistent games. I think Matip, you don't want to do it too much. Well, I don't, but you might disagree.
No, Matip is one that might want to play, but I think we have to sort of maybe take it out of his hands and just manage him.
That's maybe a point as well, because, like you said, we've been talking about Konate being in and out of the side, haven't we? I think Gomez is a shoe-in to start. Like, it makes all the sense from the start.
Yeah.
But like I think you said, Chris, they're talking that they'll go and change the centre half. Maybe looking at something for Leeds, I'm not too sure. Because Leeds are in an awful state at the moment with regards to COVID and injuries. And from what I've heard, I don't think that they'll have anyone back in time for this game on Sunday.
No.
So
there might be one or two, but I think they're about that if they are bringing one or two back, they're probably rushing them back, which is probably not ideal. Yeah. The other thing is maybe he wants to make sure Matip and Konate are really settled as a partnership, because we're all assuming Van Dijk just comes back in for the Leicester game, but
already does.
But we don't know. But we don't know how he's reacted to COVID.
We'll find out.
We'll see with Manny.
The talk is that the players
they're all fine, but we don't know.
They've no symptoms. They've shown no symptoms. They just tested positive, and that's why they were calling it. I said suspicious last night, and someone was like, it wasn't suspicious. It was like fucking suspect. I don't know what the fucking word was, but the club kept using this word, and I was kind of going, that's a bit mad. But apparently they've shown no symptoms, but they have, because they're positive, to stay on. I think he definitely comes back in. I think he's definitely looking to manage this and Leeds, and then he's looking to get them boys back in, because there's your changes. Do you get me? If you can get this, and I'm not saying go Mane, Salah, fucking Jota up front for this, but what I'm saying is if you can get through Leeds, and you have Jones, and you have Van Dijk, and you have Fabinho come back in, there's 3 changes you can make in your side. Now I agree with you, Chris. There is a certain, they'll monitor them. I'd say they're monitored fucking within the inch of their lives while they're off. But there's your changes, I can bring in a fresh centre half, and it's Virgil van Dijk. I can put someone at the base of midfield away at Leicester, and it's Fabinho. I can bring in Jones into the midfield because Kate is only coming back. Milner's 36. Tyler Morton's a young fella. You know what I mean? He could probably go, right, I'm going to go Fabinho, Jones and Ox, something along them lines. And the forward thing, you're just hoping Origi just fucking sorts himself out, and you have him as an option there. But Minamino's there as well, so there's so many names going around. There's so many different ways of looking at it, and I just think it's so difficult, because during a difficult period, for fixtures, you have all this COVID uncertainty thrown in. Like, we could be talking about this, right? And tomorrow morning they go, by the way, A, B and C are out. And we're going, well, that was a waste of time last night. And then they're out for the Leeds, and they're out for Leicester. And then you're going, we need them 3 boys back now. We need them back because we've no one fucking else.
But the way things are going now, you could even see the extreme of going, that's Liverpool done for 2 weeks.
Yeah. Well, it could be. Yeah.
The way for some clubs, the way it's been breaking out at the moment, and we can't predict it. We could do all this work and then go, right, Liverpool don't play down till Chelsea. That's it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing as well. But you see, the thing is, it's a lot more clearer as to what the protocol is now than it was 2.5 weeks ago. So Liverpool were one of the first to come out and go, these are the players that have it, and this is when they got it, this is when they're due back, and people can adjust their feelings around what the team or what the squad might be. 2.5 weeks ago, we were just shutting stuff down and getting games called off and then going back to training. You know, the sort of way, and that's the truth. Yeah, there's no arguing against that. That's what was being reported, and now the Premier League have decided after 2.5 weeks that they're taking a big stance on this. And if you have 13 players, including the goalkeeper, you must play. So you will need a fucking serious amount of COVID cases, mixed with injuries, in order to get a game off at this stage. Serious amount. Like,
but we all thought
Are United playing on the 26th? Is their game going ahead? Do we know?
They're playing 27th.
Okay, so is that game going ahead?
As far as I'm aware.
Yeah. So, but there you go. Like, it's all over the place. But like I said, we could be having conversations now. Other shows, other YouTube channels, other anything, and pundits can be having chats around this, and tomorrow it'll just all be thrown up in the air because we just don't know. And next of all, we've 3 or 4 more cases, and we'll still have to play. But we won't know who the fuck's playing, because I can't, and I'll say it now, I can't understand for the life of me how any Premier League side have had a game called off over this. And people will tell you it's health and this. No. You have about 40 players to pick from, if you include your 23s.
Yeah.
Right? With 23s, you have about 40 players at least, right?
Yeah.
At least. You have to pick a 25-man Premier League squad, you pick it. And then if you have 18, there's about 40, just call it 40. So you would have to have 26 cases of COVID amongst your playing staff to not fulfill a game, which is, it's just not happening.
The only one close who probably could, if they had the outbreak, would be Leeds. But like, what I mean is because of the amount of injuries they've already got.
Correct.
I mean,
but Spurs and United closed down training grounds and couldn't fulfil things. But you see, the thing was, they weren't. It wasn't a protocol. It was just, we're lobbying for this to be called off. There shouldn't be any lobbying. There should be, here's the information. Yeah, it's on, or yeah, it's off. You know, the sort of way.
But like everything, the decision has come too late that 13 players and a goalkeeper is, that's now the criteria. That should have been announced, as soon as it should have been a plan. This should have been how there was no contingency in, how the Premier League and the clubs thought that, COVID has gone away when, I think most people and experts knew there could be variants that would come down the line. And
I don't blame United and Spurs on this, by the way.
No, I blame the Premier League.
I think United and Spurs went, we've a few out here and on injuries, and fuck it, we're going to go to the Premier League, and let's chance the fact that these haven't got a fucking clue how to react to this, and they didn't. They simply didn't. The sort of way.
But we said this 2 weeks ago. We've had COVID now for 2 years, so there had to have been plans for this, because it wouldn't take a genius to go.
There should be literally levels of protocol in place. So if Britain is in a stage 4 lockdown, here's the protocols, right? Or a stage, whatever stages they're calling them. This is what it should be. If it goes to stage 3, this is what it should be. Stage 4, stage 5, whatever many stages they go up or down. That's the way it should be. But genuinely, from what I've seen, and I'm only judging on the information that came out or lack of, right? They literally went and lobbied to the Premier League and said, and told them they were closing their training ground, and they went, oh, well, you don't have to play then. You don't have to play. Nobody went in and went, well, hold on. Who's positive? Like, well, our 23s are okay. Well, then there's 18 players, and you've 8 over here in the thing. So that's 26 players you can choose from. Tough. That's how it goes. Or they should have done what I said the other night. As soon as Spurs opened their mouth, they should have shut it down. Well, Grant, no football for 2 weeks. Everyone gets shut down. This is the protocol. This is what you must do. And in 2 weeks' time, we'll all be clear of it regardless, and we go from there. But listen, I could talk about this all night, but I start to come across as someone that's a bit bitter about it. I'm not, because I actually expect Liverpool to play all the games over Christmas, right? Yeah. And the way I look at it is, if Liverpool have 10 out with COVID, we still have 15 left in that squad, and we still have a 23s, and that's the rule. We should play it. But for me, part of it was very, very smoke and mirrors for me for that week, 10 days, and then all of a sudden the Premier League come out with a statement and then cancel a fucking game hours later, Watford Norwich, and then make another statement and seem to be sticking to it. And you know, Chelsea went and lobbied for the game to be off the weekend. What is the word why is there a word lobbied? You don't lobby.
Yeah, but
it should be all in place. So clearly, if
you see
you're
the
lobbying
fucking
for the
team
game
they
to be,
put out?
but if you're lobbying for a game to be called off, there is obviously some sort of grey area somewhere that you feel you can expose on that. And I'm not blaming Chelsea for trying to expose it. It's because the Premier League haven't taken ownership of this
Not set in
situation.
stone, yeah.
Yeah,
they haven't
but
taken
Chelsea went out and put out a fucking team that was ridiculously strong, and then tried to make a point by putting 2 goalkeepers on a bench with something like 3 or 4 outfield players.
Yeah,
Not
they had
one
Saul
under
and they had
23.
Kovacic, and Kovacic was only coming back from injury.
Yeah, but not one under 23 player was brought in. They're trying to tell me they'd know they've one of the top youth teams in England, and they'd know 23s that they could have brought into their squad. Like, it's teams.
I asked
And I'm not, you know,
Yeah,
teams are going to pull this all the fucking time now just to try and suit themselves. And I'm not saying that's what United or Spurs done or Leicester at the start, but Chelsea clearly were trying to get something laid and wrangled there, and it just a bad luck for them.
Come on, Kev, or Chris.
Yeah, but as they point out on Twitter, all their under 23s probably on loan.
Yeah,
That's why I haven't got any.
Well, then you go to your 18s.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah,
If you have an 18-year-old and you think he's good enough to play, like, if you have an
We had
18-year-old and you think he's fucking brilliant, and you bring him in for a cup game against Shrewsbury in January, he's eligible to play for Liverpool Football Club. And like, don't get me wrong, this could go badly wrong, where we could play tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Wake up on Thursday morning, and there's another 8 cases. We've 12 players out, and people will go, yeah, but hold on, you were saying the other week, and I go, yeah, we have to play our next game. That's the fucking rule. What my argument is, where was the rules? And not only that, we're getting all this information from all these clubs now about who's out and how long they're out for and when they're due back. 2 weeks ago, nobody could tell us fucking anything. There was literally nothing. It was like, Spurs have closed the training ground. And we're like, how many have they got? And people are like, well, it's all about health.
None of
Don't
your
be worrying
business.
about who they have, and that's nothing to do with you. And I'm like, well, it fucking does. Like, we're playing Spurs in 10 days. You know what I'm saying? And and look, we're not asked for our life stories, but a simple case of, listen, and I keep saying this, 10 players who have been in a match day squad in the last fucking 30 days are out, right? And just give us. It's not hard for the clubs to turn around and go, we 15 out, but we can actually choose from 45, so we've 30 players left. It's a bit of opportunism by certain clubs for me, and I don't blame them for it. But like, nobody can turn around now and say, oh well, Spurs got this and United got this. That's irrelevant. It's irrelevant now, because what was being done with Spurs and United are completely different to what's being done now, because it's taken 2.5 weeks to actually put something in place and let everybody know as to what's going on. And that's why you're getting more information, because there's a clear plan. When there was no clear plan, there was no need for information. We're shutting the fucking training ground. You know, the rumour was Spurs were training on the morning of the Brighton game that was called off. Training the morning of the Brighton game. And people said, oh, well, they're the players that weren't were negatives. Yeah, but hold on, 2 days earlier you were telling me they were close contacts, and now they're negative and they can train. So why weren't they all tested the day before the game, and the 16 of them, and send them off to play Brighton? Manchester United had a game called off against Brentford, and we're training the following morning. And this is widely fucking reported. Yeah. Training the following morning. So what happened the night before? Are you telling me there's only 12 of them? There's no way there's only 12 of them. But again, I'm not blaming the clubs on it. The clubs have made a call and said, we're closing our training ground, we feel this. And the Premier League went, oh, well, hold on, lads, we haven't, like, we're out of the office, like, you know what I mean? Yeah, Grant, go ahead. You know, the sort of way. It's absolutely mad. But listen, let me see. You don't ask, you don't get, Gav. All in the Premier League's incompetence. I believe so. And now they're doubling down on what they're doing. And instead of trying to help clubs, they're literally going, we don't give a fuck. We don't give a fuck about the product. Because if Liverpool turn up against Leeds United or vice versa on the 26th with 13 players, including the goalkeeper, we don't give a fuck who the 13 are. And we don't give a shit, right? On the 28th when Amazon, I think, have all the games, we don't care. We have our money. You go out and play that fucking game. Yeah? So it's gone from one extreme to the other. But that's just the way I feel about it. But people can agree, disagree, throw it in the chat, and we'll have a bang about it in a few minutes. Let's try a lineup. So what I want you to do is, I'm going to stay out of this because I've spoken enough. Between the three of you, pick me a Liverpool side. Keith, you can lead these two into battle here and go and pick a team.
Right, straight. Does anyone think Alisson starts this?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't think he should, but I think he will because we know what Klopp's like.
Right, we're going.
See, the only reason I think he would start him, he shouldn't, by the way, and the reason I think he started in the Champions League games is because he's now part of the leadership group, like in the captain's group, and that was the only reason I think he maybe partly. I think it was like an anniversary cap as well, but surely Kelleher. I mean, Kelleher. I need to add this because you two guys, obviously being Irish, like his luck right now he was ill. Then Bazunu got in Ireland, and then he's missed 2 Champions League opportunities with Liverpool this season. You need to give the kid something. Like you need to give him a game.
Shrewsbury.
Yeah. No, I agree with that, Conroy, to be honest. I think, we've come out and said a lot of things about Caoimhín Kelleher, and he hasn't been getting the chances this season. Now, look, he's got the League Cup games, but there was chances to give him runs, and we haven't taken that. And right, is Ireland thing, he's unlucky there with Gavin Bazunu. But if you're not playing first team football, you can't really, stake too much of a claim. But I just think it's a quarter final with such a busy period coming. I wouldn't be surprised if Alisson is just told to stay away from this game altogether. As in, he's not on the bench. It's fucking Pituglia or Adrian or something on the bench as well. Is he still at the club?
He's injured. He's injured somehow.
Doesn't get mentioned among our walking around.
No, he's injured as well.
Yeah, but he's on the mural, so he doesn't.
It's every cloud.
The fume that caused was brilliant.
Yeah, but we're going with Kelleher in goal, right? We go with Kelleher in goal. I know you think it could, and look, I wouldn't be surprised if it was Alisson, but I think it should be Kelleher in goal. Yeah. That's who I'd go with. At the back, Costas starts at left full. Yeah. Nico, absolutely. We're not trying any silly under 23 moves here, are we?
I think Beck will come on, but I don't think he'll start.
He won't start, and it's not a dig at the young lad. It's just I don't think we'll do an unnecessary change. I think it's a good rhythm game for Costas to come into.
Absolutely.
Nico goes to right back. Nico goes to right back. Centre backs, I'd go Kanate and Gomez. What are you thinking?
I got Matip and Gomez. I think it's Matip and Gomez.
Sorry, Chris, on you, mate.
I think it's Matip because I think he'll do Kanate at half-time.
Fair enough. I think it'll be Gomez and Kanate just on the basis, like a bit like Matip can sit on the bench, but for me, like we're doing well, touch wood with Matip this season. I feel like Kanate and Gomez can play this game.
Yeah, but I was going to say, if you're going to do the 50-50, you'd be better starting Matip over Kanate.
Yeah.
Because
I know, but I think it's hard to do that, Chris, because it's hard to judge how a game's going.
Yeah, but he does it. He does it for he's done it for quite a few Champions League games. He just says you're literally coming up at half time. I just don't think Matip coming up at half time is a good idea. You've just got images of warm ups. He's on it for 2 minutes and something goes. Whereas he does a full proper warm up pre-game, he's normally all right. But
I just think it's one of them. If you go with Gomez and Kanate and you don't have to use Matip, you don't use him. Whereas you start Matip, you're making a change on half time.
It's 5 subs though, isn't it?
It's the 5 subs, that's fine. But I just mean like either you don't change him at half time and then you're playing him. If you're in a battle, if Gomez is stinking the place out, then you're stuck with Matip for the game. You know what I mean? I just think it's an unnecessary risk on him. But look, I wouldn't be surprised what Klopp will do. Klopp could go strong in this. Klopp could go stronger than we think. It could be Trent, it could be fucking Matip, and it could be Kanate. But I think that's what I'd go with now would be Kanate, Gomez, Chris would go Matip. I can understand why. But so we've a similar-ish enough back four there. The midfield is where it gets interesting, right? So we don't have many bodies here, so we'll just say we've got Tyler Morton, we've got Ox, we've got Keita, we've got Milner. We won't risk Jordan Henderson. We've an option. Go ahead.
I think he just puts Keita on the bench, and again, like the my Matip idea is he tells Milner do 45 minutes with Morton, and then throws Keita on the same position for Milner. Because I don't think he'll ask Milner and Cates to do another full games coming back from injury. I think 45 is the max you can probably push them for. Ox could do a full game because I think it'll do him good.
So you think Ox goes in there? You think Milner and Morton start the game?
That's what I think he'll do.
And you're the same, Conroy?
I do, but like the reason about the Hendo thing is I think Gav's got a really good point now. Like that was my lineup with Ox, Milner, and Morton. But I think Gav's had a great point about that control and protecting that midfield and trying to stay away from the basketball match or the moments like that. I think he's mentioned the Spurs game as well, like finding those little gaps for the through balls, like what Skip does for the second goal, like the press not being as coherent and not in the right positions. So I could see that happening. I wouldn't be surprised if Hendo did get put in. But for me, I think it's Ox, Milner, and Morton, and just maybe on the basis that he wants Hendo ready for Leeds and maybe not taking a chance.
Okay, so what's up front then? I think it's very
that's
interesting.
it. What up front? I mean, Bobby, I think plays because I think he needs minutes.
Absolutely.
I think Minamino has to play, and the other one I'd go is Kate Gordon. Yeah, I'd go Kate Gordon. He was on the bench the weekend, so he's obviously in the mix. We know he's highly rated. We know he sort of has been doing that. Or do we throw a wobble? Do we throw a Trent in at right back and put Nico on the right wing?
I think you might. I think you could see one of Salah, Mane, or Jota.
See, I think you could as well. Actually,
yeah. I thought you might see one of them on the bench as an option for Bobby.
Yeah,
I'm wondering, does he start Kate Gordon?
You don't think so?
I'm not too sure.
I don't think he'll start Salah, guys, because I think Salah against Spurs he looks like he maybe needs a rest, just to give him a little refresher. But I could see Mane playing.
Mane could be the one. Yeah. You could also put Taki back into a midfield role as well, possibly.
4-2-3-1.
Okay, well that's Kelleher, Williams, Kanate, Matip, Gomez, Tsimikas, Martin Chamberlain, Milner, Minamino, Firmino, Gordon. It's the side we've put up there. Maybe a Mane thrown in there. I think Jota, there's been little doubts over Jota's training and stuff over the last week or two, so I think that might be the chance to just give him that rest. Salah, for me, he's taken off against who did he?
Newcastle.
Newcastle. Yeah, Newcastle.
Yep.
And I think he needs a game off. I don't see any reason to lash him in there. I think it might be just Kay Gordon or Mane might be our options up front.
You know, the only worry is that we get exposed and look, Morton has done well. The only thing I'd be worried about is that James Maddison is going to occupy Morton and he's going to look to, get the ball in the half spaces in there between our defence and midfield.
I know we always talk about it, and to us, Klopp very rarely does it. But with that 11, I'd rather he played Morton and Milner as a 2, and then played a 3 in front of him.
That's what I was going to say. Like, would we just? I don't think he changes it, but you don't. Yeah. Against Spurs, I thought we got exposed there, and I wonder would he do something different?
Because
I think Keita in there. Keita and Milner and not play Morton. I don't know.
Georgie, the Leicester fan, is just insistent that we keep Salah well away from this game, please. Because he could throw something in like that. He could just go, listen, we're a bit light at the moment. We have to pick this team because what's coming up. And you know what? We're just going to throw a fear factor up there.
And Salah will be in his ear as well because Salah wants to play every game to get the goals up.
Yeah,
he's got that about on me.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like that fear factor where they go, Kay Gordon, okay, we might push on the fullback, but you're not pushing your fullback on if Salah's standing on the pitch because he'll just pull you apart on his own if he has to. You never know, but I wouldn't like to see him start. I'm going to put it out there. Because as much as the romance around, for me, there's more romance around the League Cup than there is the FA Cup at this stage. But you just have to. For me, I have to look at the bigger picture and everything that's going on. You have to cut your cloth.
Could see Mane on the right. I could see because he's played there in the past. They had a great season on the right, so. Yeah, could happen. But I think Barnes is another one as well. He's not been in his form since he came back from his injury, but before he got injured, he was very good. So it'll be interesting if Williams is playing right back and Barnes is on the left. That'll be a good battle actually. Yeah,
that's why I think that the midfield is an interesting one because I think Liverpool try to go in and get some control in midfield. It makes Leicester think more. I think if Leicester look at a Morton, say a Morton, Milner, Ox midfield, they go, right, there's a young fella in there, there's one that wants to get forward in Ox, and there's a 36-year-old who still gets around brilliantly, don't get me wrong, but they would look and go, and then they look at who Liverpool play up front and they go, I still think they get confident and they try to take control of midfield. And then you get Harvey Barnes and the likes of Maddison in on it and Daka involved. Whereas if you do something that's strong in midfield and throw a wild card in like a Salah, Leicester go, well, we can't really push up with Salah around, and their midfield is going to take. It affects their mentality, it affects their outlook on it and how they will approach the game. You know, the sort of way.
It's like it is chess, isn't it? Football is chess.
It's basically picking players to be strong, but also to, before a game even starts, start looking at affecting how much the likes of a Barnes and Maddison can affect the game. Because if a game is played in a certain way, i.e. Leicester are high and Liverpool are not in control of midfield, Maddison, Barnes and the lot can get involved. If Liverpool go and turn it around, now people will say, oh, well, they'll hit you on the break. I much prefer Liverpool being high and aggressive. And, you know, you take your chances. I'm all for that. So I think it's a really interesting one.
And that free, to be honest, guys, as well, a Gordon or a Mane is important because it's got zero pace in it. Like, when you think about it, just Firmino, Minamino, they're not going to beat a man with pace. I mean, Minamino, to be fair, can, but it's not really his massive strength.
It's not blistering, there's no blistering pace.
The more we speak about this, I can see Mane coming in now, to be honest.
Mane is the one I think that could be.
Kev shouts interesting. Just give them both an hour. Salah and Mane.
Could do that. Because
let's face it, I think he's done the Champions League twice, hasn't he?
Yeah, and the thing is, like, you can nearly say, right, we 4 days after this, you know, we 4 days after, and then that's when I think that the planning gets really hard. 26, 28, and all right, 28 to the 2nd is 5 days, that's fine, but that 26, 28, finding the balance in them two is huge. You know, I think it'd be silly to go into a Leeds game and think, oh, Leeds are in shy form and they've no players, you know, blah, blah, blah. That's where you really come undone if you go in with that attitude. But you have to go away to Leicester, who haven't been great this season, but have players that can hurt you. And Klopp knows this, you know, the sort of way. I think as much as we say Leicester might hold off on City because they have Liverpool at home, you always want to win your Christmas game at home, you see. If it was the other way around, you'd be going, oh, do you know what, they might go for it at home to City and then away to Liverpool, they mightn't. I think it's very, very
Mane, you know, hard. I know what you're saying there, Gav, about you don't want to look at Leeds and think, oh, that's an easy 3 points. But could you know, the forward options nearly be in a position where you could say, well, look, Mane, we will give him the hour in this game and not risk him again, but not start him against Leeds because you can then go with Salah,
Jota out left and
Firmino.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So you're not weakening your team, but you're strengthening the options maybe in the Leicester game. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what he does. And look, this is all dependent on no other, you know, cases coming up.
Exactly, and you can't plan for this. That's the weird thing, you know. And you have to try to get a mix of. You're nearly trying to plan that you will get more cases, and how fresh you can keep the players in the squad as it goes. No, Georgie says Man City is away for Leicester. I know. I'm just saying if it was switched around, they might want to go for City on the 26th rather than going away. I think they might go. That might be a soft side, you see, from them. Right, predictions, and I want goal scorers from Liverpool as always. Anyone in the chat, if you have anything else before we go, we've 10 minutes and then we're out of here. Anything else you want to talk about, shout it at us. We've done fucking Christmas sandwiches and all, so go down some other route. Keith, score prediction and goal scorers, please.
I think it's going to be a good game. I think we're going to come out on top, and I think it's going to be 4-2.
Oh, right.
Goal scorers.
Firecracker.
I'm going to go for Bobby to get a brace. I'm going to have Taki to get one, and I'm going to go for Bobby to get 2, Taki and Mane.
Okay. Chris?
4-3 Liverpool.
Okay, Jesus, we're all having a great time tonight.
Bobby, Salah, Bobby, Salah, Mane, and let's put Wilder and Simicast to get his first goal. And I think for them, Vardy gets a double because he always scores against us.
Yeah.
And Daka because he does really well in cups.
Yeah. Okay. Conroy?
I'm going for 2-1. For us, I think Taki just scores, doesn't he? He scores in these games, and I would say I did actually say in another prediction Shimicast, but just because Chris has said it, I'll say Nico Williams just to mix up. So Nico Williams and Minamino, and because they're the two I know definitely playing, and for that we'll touch hopefully, and for them I do think Dak will play, and I don't know if personally there'll be a bit of motivation for him. But because I know he was linked to Liverpool, maybe wants to show how good he is as well. And I agree with you guys. I think there is a player in there. I feel like maybe some Liverpool fans have brushed off Daka because it was with Salzburg, but I actually think he's another one a bit like Samari. I think I've seen enough in the Cups that he maybe just needs to get a bit of a rhythm going with Leicester. And maybe next season it'll be good to watch him. But 2-1 for me.
Okay.
Gav, what about you?
3-2 Liverpool.
Scorers, please.
Scorers, Minamino, Firmino, and a Milner penalty.
We all know Taki's scoring 100%. It's guaranteed.
Milner penalty. I think you have to throw it in there. He likes a pen against Leicester, so I'm going to throw it in there.
Who's the ref?
It's probably fucking Tierney. Fry up or curry with the leftover Christmas dinner? What are you going for?
Curry.
How do you fry up a Christmas dinner?
How do you fry a dinner, yeah? Is it bubble and squeak type of thing? Or?
Yeah, bubble and squeak, yeah, that's what they make.
Well, none of them.
I didn't think so.
You make curry.
No.
Turkey curry is gorgeous.
No, listen. Come here and I tell you. If there's any turkey left on the night of Christmas when you're going to bed, there's any turkey or ham left, you're doing it wrong, right? So this is what you do. You have your turkey and ham dinner, but you make sure you keep the turkey and ham wrapped in tin foil, right? On the plate that it was cut on, in tin foil. It keeps it moist, right? And then later on that night, you have to have bread with loads of butter, salt, and turkey and ham sandwiches. It has to happen. And stuffing, and a big cup of tea. Even if you're gargling all day, just get a big cup of tea into you with it. It's absolutely fantastic. Turkey curries are absolute tenement. Don't be going near them. If you want the curry, go out and get one. The Chinese are open the following day. Don't be worrying about it.
No, Indian curry, gorgeous.
No, don't be sticking turkey in the
curry. Dries out too quickly, and to stick it in a curry, I don't know. It nice. Was never one that I know I've done it before, but it was and turkey stews and all this sort of thing.
I've done turkey stew, but
you know,
I mean, listen, I just say cauliflower cheese, and Gav goes into bloody meltdown.
That's fucking disgusting. Carry on. But the thing is with the turkey,
white pudding. White pudding's the worst thing I've heard.
With the turkey, when you're heating it back up, just don't overheat it. Don't do it for too long. Now, people say you'll get salmonella or something. You know the way people are reheating turkey and they just fucking try cook it again. You know the sort of way. Just get it nice. The same with the ham, salt, stuffing, gravy. Get it on the sandwich.
Batch bread.
Loads of sandwiches. Loads.
Butter and gravy, Gav. So
butter and gravy, yeah. Loads of butter on the bread. Right?
Anything.
Stuffing on top, gravy on top of that, turkey, ham, whatever. Lash it on the bread, cut it in half, massive sandwiches, and a big, huge cup of tea. And just sit for about an hour.
Would you toast it?
No, you don't. You can toast if you want. But the thing is, seriously, that hour on Christmas night when you just sit and you're not even watching the telly.
Just what I can.
All day.
Yeah, you're staring through the telly while this gravy and stuffing is going everywhere, and the tea is lovely and warm. And then it's like you have that, and then it's like 10 minutes later, like, right, Grant, someone grab another can, we're going again. It's absolutely fantastic stuff.
Yeah. And it has to be on batch bread, fresh batch, no toast, fresh batch.
Adam reckons mayo, not butter. The mayo with the stuffing is okay.
But you have
gravy. Mix some mayo with gravy is you know.
I'm going to message you on Christmas night at 11 o'clock, lads. Just making it now. Just like going over the ingredients.
I'll send you a picture Christmas night.
No, do it, mate. I'll do that. I'll try that.
I'll send you.
I'm going to be mothers. I'm going to be mothers on Christmas Day for me dinner, and I guarantee when I'm leaving that house, right, there'll be a plate of turkey, a plate of ham, stuffing, gravy, and I'll be sent home with that. And when I get home here, I get the kids to bed, and I'll sit down and I'll make them big sandwiches, and then I'll actually no, I'm going to be mother-in-law's from there. So when I get to her house, I'll have all my stuff with me. And I'll make it in her house, and I'll have that, and then I'll have a few cans, and it's brilliant stuff.
I'll send you a picture of me curry.
I don't want to see a curry. Like cauliflower cheese, it's fucking horrendous. Actually, Jesus, actually, he's going all posh on us here. I'm not really. Put it in a wrap. A fucking wrap. The next day with cranberry sauce, stuffing, and turkey and gravy. Yeah, I'm not a cranberry sauce man.
Cranberry
I
sauce,
like
you
cranberry
can-
sauce. I do like
Oh,
cranberry sauce. I think it's quite nice.
Not a big thing. It's like no, not for me. But I get where you're coming from. I'm just more of a sandwich man. Than a
The
wrap man.
idea of the wrap, I suppose, it has a bit more purchase on it. Do you know what I mean? Like if you're lashing
Mixes it in,
gravy and
mixes
all
it
on
in,
a sambo, you're dicing with the fact that it's going to get soggy as fucking just break away on you.
Yeah.
So yeah, the wrap.
the wiki
A bit more
reason.
substance there. Good thinking.
Come here, what's the story on this sausage meat stuffing? I'm not a big fan. Anyone?
I make sausage meat stuffing. Yeah,
Do
so
you?
I do. And
You put your
lashes
hand
are
up as if you're in
stuffing.
skill there.
Lashes are stuffing recipes in the chat there. So I do, right? Well, now I'm telling a lie. My mother-in-law does this, but I've made it myself as well. Sausage meat, breadcrumbs, mashed potato, onions, butter, herbs. Fantastic.
That's not even that's how do you qualify that as stuffing? Stuffing's meant to be something that's light and
stuff
nice.
it into
It's just
a
another
poxy
dinner.
turkey.
You're just putting another dinner in.
Oh, it's heavy tack.
It's on
It's heavy
heavy.
tack.
It is fucking heavy
Yeah.
tack. You know what I mean?
heavy
You laying
tack.
roads with that stuff. Like,
Yeah, this stuff isn't for the faint-hearted. But if you're getting that on if you're getting that on bread, game over. Forget about the turkey and the ham. Just get the stuff.
Before I lived,
That's another meal keep,
before I bought my own house, me and the missus would take turns, you know, go to her mother's for dinner, go to her mother's for dinner, whatever it was, right? And I remember turning up in her mother's one time at Christmas with my own stuff and with me. And she said, and do you want your dinner? And do you want stuff? And I said, no, I have my own stuff and with me. So I was at to taking it from my mother's and bringing it up. So she put it on me dinner. So they all had their stuffing, right? They all had their stuff, and I had my own that I brought from my own house. And I'm eating and all. And you know, like you could see our dad sitting there, and our dad was like, yeah, because he loves, like, you know, if you're sitting there at the end of a fry up, he's like, yeah, you finishing that sausage, or do you want the fat off that bacon? He'd eat anything, like he's dusty bin. But they're all sitting there having their stuffing, and I was like eating mine. The dinner was lovely, but I don't eat this stuffing. And her dad said, can I get a bit of that stuffing off you? I said, yeah, there's loads in the tray there, you know. But you see the eyeballs going, don't do that. Don't fucking do that. Don't eat someone else's stuffing. My ma go mad. But they all ended up having it, you know. But the only stuff, the stuffing I have is it's breadcrumbs, it's herbs, it's onion. It's fucking fantastic.
Mashed potato and sausage
That's
meat.
just a dinner. That's just another dinner. It is. You're just making another dinner and calling it.
Do you mean that's like mince and tatties in my head? Like that's a full-blown like mashed potatoes and mince. That's a full Scottish dinner, and you're having it as an extra.
Give me a list.
Listen.
Mashed potatoes in it.
Yeah, mashed
sausage
potatoes,
meat. So it's sausage and mash so far.
Yeah.
Right.
What else? Breadcrumbs,
butter.
Yeah. Onions.
That is stovies. That is stovies in Scotland. Yeah. That is stovies.
That's another fucking.
You lash it all in. It's moist. It's not like, see, sausage meat, you have to get your balance right, because if you put too much sausage meat in, it just comes out a bit too meat.
It's like two meals then.
Is that only using Conroy's in stitches here thinking of Gav turning up at the in-laws with stuff in his pocket? No, I didn't turn up in my pocket. I had it in a proper tray and all. But
like Dan Aykroyd in Trading Places when he takes a salmon out of the Santy suit and starts eating it through the beard.
But come here, I ask you, is sausage meat only used for stuffing?
Is it only used for stuffing? No, I put it in I'd get the skin off the sausages and I'd put it into meatballs with minced meat, beef and, you know, sausage into me meatballs. So,
would you not just buy meatballs, no?
What, a tin of epoxy meatballs? Make them yourself.
No, you can buy lovely packs of meatballs.
Yeah, but you can make them yourself and they're nicer.
Why would you? You're just buying sausage meat to add to... Why are you adding the sausage meat?
Well, I wouldn't buy the sausage meat. It's the sausages. So you'd have your sausages there and you just take them out of their skin and then you put them in. So essentially it's sausage meat.
Right.
Whereas at Christmas they swindle you at Christmas and sell you actual sausage meat. Just take the skin off your sausages. Same thing.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, Keith's literally having a dinner and then having another dinner beside that and calling it stuff.
That was very informative. I'm going to use some of that.
Try it. Can't wait for the WhatsApp on Christmas night when we're all putting in our dinner recipes, our sandwiches.
I know.
And I don't take pictures of food and send it to anyone, but I will definitely with the sandwiches and the cup of tea.
Yeah,
And do you know what I have in the house? I got it years ago. You know those big Sports Direct mugs?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah. I've got one as well.
And the only time it ever came in handy was
Christmas
about fucking 10 years ago when I got it, and the snow, it was freezing cold out. And when I was going out for a smoke, it was that fucking cold out. I used to make a cup of tea every time I was going out, and I'd be standing outside the front door with the smoke with this big Sports Direct mug. It was like a hot water bottle. It was that big, you know, taking the sub off it. But yeah, that big mug of tea, that's the biggest mug you can find, and I get it into you. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. But anyway, that's the end of the midweek fix.
Well, before we go,
right.
no, I know I always do this, but I'm just looking at a tweet there. I'm sure people put this into the chat. Is it the one about Sajid Javid?
Yeah,
the
that's the one.
news has confirmed that. I'm butchering his name. Sajid Javid has confirmed that isolation for COVID cases will be cut from 10 to 7 days as long as they test negative with a lateral flow.
Okay.
So interesting, for players that they won't do the full 10-day isolation.
Okay, so that would definitely bring Van Dijk and stuff back into contention for Leeds. Even though they're out on that day, they could definitely come back in a couple of days early, and it probably gets Thiago in as well, does it?
Not for Leeds, but probably gets him
in for Leicester as opposed to Chelsea. Okay, yeah. We'll have to wait and see. I think it's weird as well, Archie. Archie says, holy Jesus, skin and sausages for meatballs, that's a first. Right. He's a fucking head case. They all eat cabbage water and everything in his gaff, man.
Oh, we love cabbage, yeah. Cabbage toasties and drink the cabbage water and all that, yeah. I'm telling you, don't knock it till you've tried it. Loads of iron in it, it's good for you. Does anybody peel mushrooms?
I don't eat
them. I got called a weirdo for this.
I think you're weird if you eat mushrooms. Mushrooms are the most suspicious things you could eat.
Texture horrendous.
Well, you see, that's why I peeled them. You see,
fair enough.
Why do you peel them? Are you worried that they're going to kill you?
No, not at all. I couldn't give a shit of it worse. But so
you've drank worse as well. That sounds of it.
Oh yeah, but I take off the little stalk, right, and then I peel the outer layer of the mushroom. Now I said this before. People were like, "What do you mean you peel? How can you peel a mushroom?"
And you can't peel the outer skin off. I don't know why you do it, but you can do.
Why you do it? Because
just slice it. Leave the stalk on. Just slice it and fry it.
Yeah, but when you peel the mushroom, it's not as slimy and it's not as fucking.
Cabbage toasties is fucking great, isn't it?
Yeah. Cabbage toasties are great. Yeah.
Mushrooms are appalling. They shouldn't.
I hate them.
They're fucking appalling.
Which is worse. Mushrooms,
peel the mushrooms, and it will change your opinion.
If you pick up a mushroom out in the open, right? You don't know whether it's all right or it could kill you. And for that reason, fucking stay off the mushrooms. Right? Magic mushrooms, mushrooms in fields, mushrooms in packs, mushrooms in the supermarket, whatever it is, stay off it.
You just take a blanket approach to mushrooms.
Blanket approach to mushrooms. Get the
One
fuck.
of them are good.
That's my blanket approach.
Antoine goes asking how the hell do you peel a mushroom? So you take the little stalk off it, and then it's got a little thing around. You just peel back the skin, it all comes off.
It's like a clove of garlic. If you look at it like
that. Yeah, but it's easy to do, but it changes the texture of the mushroom.
It's much easier if you just stay away from them. You don't have to do anything with them. You know what I mean? Listen, like Keith's gaff, Keith's gaff, peeled mushrooms, cabbage sandwiches, and they're just skinning sausages all day. Imagine the amount of sausages. Do all the family have to meet around at your ma's a couple of days before Christmas to skin all the sausages for the stuff?
I know that's not me ma's. They wouldn't do that. That's only now since I've moved out.
Just you.
Become more cultured. Yeah, no, because when in my ma's,
he takes 5 days annual leave before Christmas to skin the sausages. Unbelievable.
In my house, there was no sausage meat stuff in the flats when I grew up. It was cabbage water and cabbage toasty if they had bread. You were lucky.
Yeah.
There was no sausage meat in the stuff, and that's only since I've moved out. Like I say, my mother-in-law does great stuffing, and she's the sausage meat sort of aficionado. So I've taken the lead from her. Now I'm not saying she peels the sausage; she does the actual sausage meat.
Right. So our stuffing is renowned in the area. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
They talk about her far and wide. Yeah,
okay.
I have her in my freezer and all. She sent her up there a few weeks ago. The stuffing in the freezer.
Well, listen, it was one less thing for you to worry about because, you'd be skinning sausages this week. in preparation for, like, I don't know,
Not
dinner in the
till
new
you
year.
try.
But it's absolutely unbelievable. That is the midweek fix. Anything else, Conroy, before we go?
I don't know what Chris is laughing at, but no, I'm good, thanks.
Okay.
That was a great chat. Looking forward to the game tomorrow, guys.
Good stuff.
Oh, it's Owen Fleming. Keith can
could
probably peel a grape in his pockets.
That would make out that I'm some sort of toy bastard.
No, Keith's very
I'm not.
he's a very
I'm
generous
actually-
man. And I'm
Yeah,
going to make him a
no.
cup of tea tomorrow when he comes up to my house to collect something
Yeah,
off me.
knocking in for a cup
10
of tea.
o'clock, by the
driving.
way. Don't be any later than that. I've loads to do tomorrow. Rory Fitzgerald says, for the big mug of tea, Gav, do you put 2 tea bags in? No. Just
leave it for a while.
Tea
we
bag
talk
in,
about
water
tea
in,
etiquette?
store. Listen, all this leave the tea bag in, right? That's not even fucking tea after so long. Put the fucking tea bag in, pour water in, store it a good bit, right? Store it a good bit and just squeeze the life out of it. Bit of milk, 2 sugars, and away you go. By the way, when you put your tea in, mad one before we go, right? But I was only thinking about this today when I was making a cup of tea. You know when you put your tea bag in and you do all that and you put your milk in and you're storing it, what way do you store? Do you store clockwise or anti-clockwise? And I have a thing on this. I think left-handers store anti-clockwise, and I think
Because I'm left-handed, anti-clockwise. You're right.
I'm right-handed and I do anti-clockwise.
Oh yeah, of course you do.
I'm literally, you'll have to been saying it and I'm have to been practicing here.
I'm doing it as well.
You go back that way.
Anti-clockwise, yeah.
Right, okay, all right.
Gav, you're going to be having me paranoid tomorrow making a cup of coffee. Like, what? Oh, God.
Chris, clockwise or anti-clockwise?
Anti-clockwise, I'm left-handed.
Yeah, left-handers definitely do it. It's it's storing it towards your body in that motion. Keith, of course.
I'm doing it here. It feels weird even trying it, and I'm just practicing with no cup here. I might as well show you as they were on screen, so I'm doing this, and that feels weird. It's a much more natural anti-clockwise motion.
No, it's not.
It's not.
And
Barry does it both ways, apparently.
And, well, whatever he's in.
Don't judge around here.
But the thing is, right, and I'll tell you why. Because as a right-hander, if you're storing away from you in a clockwise motion, you have less chance of knocking the cup over. If you're doing it towards you with your left hand, you're pulling that spoon towards you all the time, which could pull the cup towards you. I was only thinking about it today, making a cup of tea, and I said, I must ask somebody about this. It wasn't meant to ask you. I don't know who I was going to ring to ask, but I'm glad I've asked you. But it's
you store clockwise in case a tin of beans falls out, your press and lands on your cup and smashes it.
No, I don't know. If Easter egg comes and hits you in the head, I mean, that's proper in the
I'm telling you now.
Yeah. Oh, solid Easter egg.
Right-handed tea bag, you're definitely going, you should be going clockwise. And that means that the cup is always out in front of you. It's not being dragged towards you. If you go anti-clockwise, you're pulling that. I'm telling you, you're pulling it towards you. Whereas you're left-handed, you do anti-clockwise, right? Which keeps that cup out in front of you. If you do it the other way, clockwise, for a left-hander, it's pulling it towards you. So there you go.
No, you're storing a cup of tea here. You're not pulling anything.
No, I'm telling you, it's all a muscle memory, and it's all to do with the angle of which you're turning that spoon. And I had a big think about this earlier, and I didn't know who I was going to talk to about it. But I'm delighted to talk to you, especially Keith.
Maybe it's your teaspoon.
No, it doesn't take. Hold on. It does not take much. It does not take much to knock over a cup of tea.
That's right.
It doesn't take much, man. I'm telling you. Have a think about it. Toilet roll. Over or under?
Over or
over.
What we talk about? How it
so
sits on the ring.
When you put the toilet roll on the holder. Should the piece
this causes
be at the back
in my house?
At the back or at the front? If it's at the front, it's over. If it's at the back, it's under.
Over for
this
me.
Causes murder.
Right.
We change it every time. Me and the missus both on different sides of the fence on this one.
Yeah, we have the same argument.
So she puts it under, I think, so it's hanging down the back.
It'd be nearest the wall if it's under.
Yeah. My missus does nearest the wall. I do the other way. I flick it around. I eat it.
Out and fix that. And you know what? And you know why I'm going to jump in on this? You work in a hotel, don't you?
I do.
Did you do the rooms in the hotel at any stage, or were you always just a Billy Big Bollocks in the office?
I was always Billy Big Bollocks.
I worked in a hotel as well when I was younger, and you have to fold the fucking toilet rolls and all.
Outwards,
So-
not inwards.
Yeah, I'm definitely over.
You have more control over it if it's on the outside when you're pulling it.
The outside, yeah.
Yeah, so it's in front of you. It's out here rather than at the back of the wall. Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's out in front, you have more control over it when you pull it. If it's at the back and it's near the wall, you're pulling that. It could be anywhere. You don't know where the fuck it's gone. You know, it could look like fucking River Plate against Boca by the time you're finished pulling the thing.
Yeah, but that's it exactly. You know what I mean? You can't be having that chaos, fucking anarchy. If you're playing Jack Soros hanging down on the ground and then you're rolling it back up,
Anarchy.
rolling it back. Like, hold on a minute. You know what I mean? We're all trying to live our best life here. But
Yeah, I know.
at some
But listen,
stage, you have to say, look,
sometimes on
enough,
football YouTube channels, you need to have these discussions, especially coming up to Christmas. And
And
there will
the
be
capital
people out there. There will be people out there that never knew what stuffing was and do now. Used to like mushrooms and despise them now with a bit of luck. And when they go to Jack's, they can look and go, oh, for fuck's sake, she's at the putting on the inside, like she's lost complete control of herself. Or he, whatever, because it causes murder in the gaff. Gav as a sports director, he stores it with a wooden spoon. Robbie Doyle reckons I stored it with a ladle. Think about it, Gav. You've stored it away clockwise. Your next move is to store it towards you clockwise. No, you just store it in one direction, take the spoon out and go away. Don't be storing it in all different directions and stuff. The only time
do you tap the spoon on the side when you're finished? Or do you take it straight?
Let me practice. Hold on. Yeah, give it probably one tap and stick. And I have a little thing on the counter, you know, that holds the tea bags and the spoon. You can just sit on.
Yeah, I've got that.
So you're not going to bin and all. Like, so I just piles the tea bags, and then like she's going, will you please? Like, it's meant to hold 2 tea bags, about 6 on it. But yeah, no, you shouldn't be storing in all different directions. The only thing you really store in different directions in a cup is probably a cup of soup. You know, like one of those cup of soup sachets. That has to get go
one direction, surely.
No, you have to do it both ways with the soup, because you know when the soup goes in and you put the water in, you can get little lumps.
At the bottom.
Yeah, so you get it stored around, and then as it's spinning towards you, you start spinning it back the other way. It's a massive game of chicken.
Splash it. That's madness.
No, not if you have a good rhythm to it. It's all about getting that spoon right into the cup. If your spoon isn't in the cup enough, if any part of the actual spoon bit is showing up over the water, you're in trouble. You will be splashed. You'll be 3rd-degree burns. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you really are. You're blading dice with that. I think one direction and no fucking, which could have been my musical interlude tonight as
well.
But
the thing is, the coffee machines and all out there, why don't you have like a machine for tea where a little thing comes down and just spins the fucking stuff in the cup for you? Like a
That's because
snobby. Whisk. You mean a whisk?
Yeah. So there you go. Anyone that was looking for football chat, that ended about 25 minutes ago. Well, look, we've sorted a lot of stuff out in the run out to Christmas there.
20 minutes of football, 20 minutes of life. That's what we do.
That's it. Sorting out life and football all in one go. I'd say a lot of people have unliked this now at this stage. Like, and I don't blame them, because some of it is just not for them. But that's the way it goes. It is a football channel, but I get great enjoyment out of the stuff we talk about. I genuinely could talk about that stuff way more than football, because we're all a bit weird. Nothing else from Chris, nothing else from Keith, nothing else from Conroy. So that has been the midweek fix for this week. Happy Christmas to everyone. Keith, Chris, Conroy, happy Christmas to everyone watching. Last show before Christmas is tomorrow night. Chris and Kev are coming in with the Sports Unplugged. It's a bit of a Q&A, Kev tells me. So anything you want to talk about with regards to any sport, go and check that out.
Thursday.
Conroy, thanks a million.
Yeah, no,
tomorrow.
Are you doing a reaction show tomorrow night?
Oh, not tomorrow. Thursday. That's Thursday. Tomorrow we have a reaction 10 p.m. Jesus, thank God you're here. Yes, tomorrow 10 p.m. me and Kev are doing the post-match Leicester, and Thursday, sorry, I'm getting my days all mixed up. See, it's the spoons and all. Thursday is Chris and Kev with Sports Unplugged, and they are going to talk all sports, and you can do whatever you want and talk to them about it. That's it.
Uncle Bob's had a mayor in the chat there. He just said Arsenal are bigger than Liverpool. He had a goal. He's had a right good goal. And he hit that send so quickly.
Me.
I got overexcited.
He's had a pop. He's had a go at us. I don't blame him.
That's like
fight your corner. I always say fight your corner, but get the grammar right. Get the grammar done right.
I'm bad for that as well. I've got a great message and I type it.
It's a terrible end to what was a great show. But it's a bit like last night. I think it was Red Steve called a catalytic converter, which
Catholic converter, yeah.
yeah, which look,
It's a whole different thing.
yeah, it's mixed emotions now at the end of this. To be quite honest with you, that is it. Talk to you in a bit. Over now.